Good evening, Sunday evening, and it's John and Michelle, and it's satsang. So you missed last Sunday. We were away and we didn't have an internet connection, but it's so good to be back with you tonight and to share our energies. And right now I believe that South Africa and the world needs the satsang, the energies of satsang. So welcome, and I thank you for taking a time out of your day to just sit here with us and to connect with the energy of love, of peace, of just inner contentment for a little while.
Yes.
And that definitely is the energy that the world needs right now.
So yeah, definitely. Never more.
Never more.
Especially for those of us in South Africa, I think. Right now.
A lot of turmoil going around, and we hear there are many other countries in the world that are also facing and experiencing unrest at the moment, civil unrest at the moment. So we're not alone in that.
No,
we're not alone in that.
It's all over the place.
No, we're not. But what's so beautiful about particularly South Africa is the way that the communities are pulled together, and I think
amazing.
the amount of good that comes out of this and the collective coming together. In support across all racial lines and all economic demographics. It's really wonderful to see that, and that's the gift that we're getting from this. I believe it's the birthing of the realization that our future lies not in centralized control, but in communities, in smaller local communities.
It's proof.
Yeah, it really is.
It's very radical proof, but very clear proof. Yeah.
So this evening we'll be sharing some powerful tools to empower us, to help us navigate through the chaos. We'll be doing that. Yeah. So welcome. And if you value what we have to share, we can ask you to press the share button and just share the live call as well, because that definitely helps get the message out there. Yeah. And we really appreciate the hearts as well. We like getting the likes and the hearts. So thank you for joining us tonight and sharing your energy. So let's start as we usually do, and doing the really important work of the evening, which isn't work at all, and that is to center ourselves in the here and now. And the here and now is life. Life is only ever here and now, and we continually leave the here and now in our mind, and we go into what's called the matrix, our story of yesterday or to tomorrow. And that really does disconnect us from this amazing power that we have, the power of life, the power of love, the power of presence. So let's start this evening by centering ourselves. Make quite sure you're comfortable. Got a few cushions maybe. And just gently close your eyes and become aware of what it feels like to be inhabiting your body here and now in this moment. Just bring your awareness right the way down your body to your feet. Become aware of your toes. Each one of those toes serves a major function in your body. Just check in with each one of your toes, maybe starting with the big toe on your right foot, moving through each one of the toes, and then moving across to the left foot, checking in with each one of those toes again. Just being thankful for having them. Now let's check in with the soles of our feet, and let's feel the connection to the ground beneath us. The ground beneath us, Mother Earth. She is our mother, and she supplies all our needs. Everything comes in the physical way from the earth. So feel an energy coming up from Mother Gaia, up your feet, up through your ankles, up through your shins and calf muscles. Feel this energy of life coming up through your knees, through your thighs, into your hips. Feel this energy moving up through your spine, connecting with each vertebra in turn as it moves up your spine. This beautiful Mother Earth energy moving between your shoulder blades up into your neck. If you find any tension in your neck, just relax your shoulders. You might like to drop them. Bring your awareness, this energy moving up through the back of your head, through the top of your head, and the crown of your head. And just feel a cord pulling your head, lengthening the back of your neck, pulling your body upright. Feel this cord connected to Father Sky, pulling the energy up from Mother Earth, up through your feet, through your legs, through your torso, up through your neck, to the crown of your head, pulling this energy of Mother Earth up to meet Father Sky. And then feel now the energy from Father Sky moving down through this cord, down the crown of your head, through your forehead, relaxing any worry lines you have on your forehead, ironing them out, smoothing them away. And this energy moving down your eyelids, relaxing them, clearing any tension from your eyelids, from your cheeks, from your jaw. Become aware of your tongue. Just relax your tongue. You might like to rest it slightly against the front teeth, touching the palate of your mouth lightly. Just relax your jaw, your tongue. Bring this energy now down through your throat, relaxing your throat, relaxing your vocal cords, opening your throat. And into your chest, relaxing and opening your chest, moving down your arms to your wrists, connecting with your fingers, checking in again like we did with the toes with each one of your fingers. And feel the energy in the middle of the palm of your hands. See if you can feel a sensation in the palm of your hands. You might feel it as a warmth or a tingling. Feel your arms very relaxed right now. Elbows relaxed, shoulders relaxed. Your wrists relaxed. Hands resting. Now feel this energy moving from your chest into all of the organs in the body, spreading this beautiful, beautiful energy from Father Sky down your body, moving down your legs into your feet and connecting with the ground beneath you. And Mother Earth greets Father Sky with another beautiful wave of her energy moving up through the body, moving right the way up to the crown of your head and bursting out through the crown of your head, almost like a fountain of beautiful light around your body. So you're now a conduit, a sacred conduit, connecting Father Sky with Mother Earth, and you're the sacred child between. Just feel this connection and say thank you. Thank you for this life, this awareness, this presence. Thank you for this evening, for this satsang. And as you sit quietly now, just become aware of everything you can hear. Listening is such a sacred act. Not listening with the need to label or the need to understand, but just listening as a very passive state. It's a feminine energy is listening. Just allowing any sounds that your ears can pick up right now, just allowing the sounds to be heard. Maybe right now, if you listen very carefully, you might even pick up your heartbeat in your eardrums. Every time your heart beats, it pushes a pressure wave through the eardrums. Just see if you can hear that. And notice who and what is aware of that sound. It's not your name, it's not your personality, it's not your age, it's not your gender, it's not your race or religion. It's something that transcends all of that, that listens. It's a stillness, a quietness, an emptiness that listens. Know yourself to be that. And in that knowingness you find the depth of your being. And in that knowing you find peace. And in finding the peace, you become a portal for love to enter this space, this dimension, this world. And you know this through the awareness, the perception of beauty. This moment is beautiful. Each one of you is so loved, so protected. Now take a very deep breath in, blowing your tummy out as you bring the air right to the lower diaphragm. And then a beautiful long releasing breath out, a long sigh, long sigh. Take a second very deep breath in, right down to your toes this time, pulling your tummy out as you draw the air down. And then that beautiful long releasing sigh out. Just let it go, let it go, let it go. Dropping your shoulders even more. And a third very deep breath in, right down to those toes again. And this time right up to the top of your head, so you're filling your whole body up like a big balloon. And then that beautiful releasing, relaxing, surrendering breath out. And when you're ready, gently, very gently, you may open your eyes. And as you open your eyes, just see how you feel in this moment. See if you feel a bit more comfortable, a bit more peaceful, a bit more centered, a bit more present. And you might like to let us know in the comment box how you feel right now.
It was lovely, John. Thank you. I think everybody needed that. Well, I did, for sure.
Been quite a week, hasn't it?
Welcome, yes, hasn't it just? I think some of you might be joining us from out of South Africa, but if you're in the KZN area or the Gauteng area as well, you would have felt this week for sure. I've got a lot of friends in Natal because I lived a lot of my life there, and Joburg actually, and it's been a tough week for everybody. Yeah. So that's kind of why we felt that we needed the symbolism of the storm, because it's been a bit of a storm for a lot of people. And how do we keep our center in the middle of a storm? Can't control the storm. No. So storm's going to come. And I think, if any of you have been following me on a blog or on my YouTube channel for the last year and a half, 2 years actually, we've been heading for all of this. So back in 2019, we were saying, the winds of change are coming, and that the structures as we knew them are going to crumble. And we didn't know what it was going to be. We didn't know if it was going to be. We didn't know it was going to be anything like what's revealed since January last year. But with everything that's been revealed, with the lockdowns, with everything that's actually led us to this point, This is kind of almost the second part of it. So the first part was astrologically or energetically, was really the coming together of two planets, which basically represented the deconstruction of the old. And we are literally experiencing that as we speak, and not just in South Africa, all over the world, that the old doesn't work, hasn't worked for millennia, never will work. It's unsustainable. What's been happening around the world, particularly in our country, is just not sustainable. In a country like ours, you cannot sustain a population when you keep putting them in lockdown. So that's on that level. And this year, astrologically, the focus has shifted a little bit towards where you've actually got the structures, or the governments, if you want to call it that, the big structures, the big weighty things that have always been there, that we've always trusted in. Hopefully not, but many of us have, to actually take care of us on the one hand, and the people on the other hand. That's literally what's happening astrologically. You've got Saturn, which is traditional structures, square Uranus, which is freedom, which is liberation, which is revolution, which also represents community. It represents the new. Saturn represents the old. And that's this energy this year, is the two coming into like a boxing match. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing that the people are standing up and saying no. And if you don't watch the mainstream news, if you watch outside of the mainstream news, you'll see that there are protests all around the world, not violent ones that we've seen in our country, not necessarily violent, peaceful protests, but people say, no, the old doesn't work, and we're not going to stand for this anymore. And I think what's very interesting this last week, as John said at the beginning of the satsang, is that people have come together this week, like they do, and they have stood together as community. And I feel, it's just my own personal opinion, that what this is actually bringing in, and it's not just here, is that we are going to be relying much more on community to provide our needs, to provide our food, to stand together, to barter, to trade. I mean, I know people in Natal that are literally trading lettuces and eggs because they cannot get food. They've been queuing for food for days. If you don't know about it, you might be living in another province, you might not be as aware of it, but that's what's happening. So people have literally been forced to actually say, okay, how can we help each other? And where can we get food from? And I think that it might be pushing us into that, where we actually start to say, right, we have to stand together. How do we do that? So that's my take of what's happening. And I think that's part of dealing with crises like this, storms, standing together, not standing on your own thinking that you're alone, because you're not.
Yeah, it's so interesting because in 2019 you did that tour, that speaking tour, Navigating the Winds of Change. And you said something was going to start happening from January 2020. And, you know, the problem when chaos happens in our lives is we think it's random. We think that why is this happening? It's just absolutely random. We can't make sense of it. We lose meaning in life. And when you look at it from an astrological point of view, as Michelle does, you start to see, but hang on a minute, there is actually some order. I mean, the word cosmos means order.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can sort of see ahead of time, hang on a minute, there is going to be this transformation. And then, you know, you said a few weeks ago about this situation developing between government and the people. And so it was seen in the stars. So it's to know that these events that are happening around the world are not random at all. They're actually part of a greater order, a greater cosmic order, not even an earth order, a cosmic order.
Yeah.
Now you and your family are part of the cosmos. You're not separate. The cosmos isn't out there and you're over here. No, you are an intimate part of the cosmos. And so your life is also part of this order. Every step that you take in your life is part of this order. And I know it seems random. It does seem random at times. When you have your nose too close to a tapestry, for example, you can't see the order in the threads. They just look random.
Yeah.
But when you stand back from the tapestry, you can see the incredible order in that tapestry. And so it is within our lives, that every single one of you are exactly where you're meant to be for some order, for some incredible large order that's unfolding.
Yeah.
The day you were born, the moment you were born, the second you were born was not an accident. You know, you just come to Michelle for a reading and you can see that,
mistakes.
you know, there are no mistakes. And so the date that you leave this planet, that's not a mistake either. That's absolutely written in the stars. So then when you start to know that, the anxiety, the fear of being out of control, you never were in control, by the way. The cosmos is always in control. It's a complete myth that your egoic personality is responsible for everything that happens to you. Your egoic responsibility loves taking responsibility for everything. I should have, I could have, they ought to have.
What if I had?
What if I had? Yeah. And ultimately, you're not responsible for Saturn and Pluto and Uranus. You're not responsible for the sun rising tomorrow. Everything is part of a greater intelligence, greater than your individualized mind. And when you start to see that, then you can step back and say thank you, knowing that even the disorder is part of a greater order.
It helps acceptance, even especially when things are rough, especially when there's loss or there's trauma or there's tragedy. It helps to actually get a sense of perspective and acceptance. If you realize that, oh, hang on, this is supposed to be playing out. This is a thread in my tapestry. It might be a difficult thread. It might not be a thread that I particularly like. It might be a coarse black thread that's kind of running through and doesn't look very pretty right now. That seems to be destroying the tapestry. But actually, as John said, if you stand back later, when it's actually interwoven into everything else, it actually starts to make sense. At the time, it doesn't. But if you have that perspective that there are no mistakes, that we are exactly where we need to be, exactly how we need to be, then it helps to actually find acceptance to wherever we are. Because the suffering comes from the resistance to what is happening. So that's where we go into suffering. It's not necessarily the situation. It's our thoughts about it and our thoughts that say, this should not be happening. I should have done this. This shouldn't be happening. This is unfair. I'm a victim. This is awful. And yes, that's the human condition. And yes, we do that. Yes, we judge. But when we can see that that leads to suffering, we can actually bring ourselves back out of it and say, yes, it might not be pleasant. It might be very, very, very challenging. And it is for millions of people right now on the planet, billions of people on the planet. But you're actually able to see it from a higher perspective. I think that's the gift in it. And also to ask, instead of, why is this happening, to which we don't have the answers, to ask what we're learning from it, what we might be learning from it, how we might be growing from it. That's a much more helpful thing to ask, isn't it?
Yeah, there is a gift in all adversity. There is a gift. Yeah. If I look back at my own life and the terrible things that have, so-called terrible things that have happened to me, they were gifts. They were all gifts because they opened up a new world for me, a new path for me. And, we can wait 10 years before we can see the gift, or we can know it at the time. Even though I can't see it in the moment, I know that this moment is perfect. And then you don't suffer anymore. Then you let go of suffering, knowing that each and every moment of your life is unfolding according to a much bigger fabric than you can see. And then you can step back from it and you can find that centeredness, that peace within you. There is peace underlying all chaos. In every single moment, you can step back into peace. You don't need external circumstances to be this way or that way to find the peace, which is what the mind says. If only the world was this way, if only I was that way, then I would be at peace.
Yeah, when it sorts itself out, when this is over, then I can be at peace. Yeah. When this is resolved, then I can be at peace. When I've got the money that I need, when I've got the job that I need, when all the chaos on our planet is over, when lockdown's over, when my business is doing well, then I can have the peace. Doesn't work like that. You're freezing. I just saw us freeze there for a sec.
Okay.
So it doesn't work like that. It works the other way around.
It does.
It's to actually create the peace within us. And the difficulty right now is that there's a tendency, I think, when something like this happens, and referring to specifically to South Africa right now, because a lot of you are South African, not all of you, obviously. When something like this happens and it seems so violent and random and destructive and wrong, it's to actually want to take arms up and go and fight it and harden and go out there with guns blazing to actually sort it out. And I don't believe that that's the answer, because I don't think going to war has ever been the answer for anything. Standing together, yes. Standing together as a community, yes. Standing in your sovereignty, in your own true power, saying, no, that doesn't work for me. Yes. I mean, we had such a cute situation today. John's grandchild came around, and his daughter was wanting to leave, and John's granddaughter was sitting and didn't want to leave. So Claire was sort of saying, well, we can do this, we can do that, but we really need to get going. And she just very quietly, at the age of 6, said, no, that doesn't work for me. Just that. No, that doesn't work for me. And I mean, what do you say to that? But that's standing in your sovereignty.
It is.
It's
standing
saying,
in your power.
no, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
This is not working for me. And so I believe that's our potential as spirit beings in bodies, to actually say, what does work for me?
Yeah.
What doesn't work for me? What makes sense to me? Am I going to listen to people saying that this is what's happening and that I should believe it because they're important or rich or they're wearing a white coat? Or should I just connect with what's true for me, what works for me? That's sovereignty. And that's what we can strengthen. But to go out there with guns blazing, trying to fight the system, that's not going to work.
Yeah. What's really important here is to realize that, yes, on the outside, you may need to do certain action to protect yourself, protect your family, can protect your community.
Yeah.
And in that, there is a certain level of no, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I'm here to physically protect the situation, stand my power.
Yeah.
But what's important here is the internal.
Yeah.
Is there an internal no? Or is there an internal yes? Now that might seem quite difficult. How can there be an internal yes when the world around you is so wrong? You can say, yes, this is happening. Yes, this did happen. There's the yes. Not no, it shouldn't have happened. Because the moment you say no, it shouldn't have happened, you are now at war with life. Because life is what life is. And when you pick a war with life, you will always lose, because life is infinitely bigger than you. So even in the scenario of chaos happening around you, see that there's an inner acceptance of it, because in that inner acceptance, you step into peace. And from that place, you're far more intelligent. You're able to make better rational choices and decisions. And not only that, when you're at peace here, when you are calm inside, when you are centered in your own presence, you open up a channel for communication through you from a higher intelligence. It's called intuition. You open yourself up to intuitively know what to do next. Not part of the rational mind, not part of strategy. We're not talking about strategizing here. We're talking about connecting with that inner knowingness. And the inner knowingness is never in fear. It's in peace. That inner knowingness comes out of a stillness within you. The rational mind will be in fear. Yeah, when chaos is happening around you, the mind can't cope with that, so it goes into fear. And that information that the mind is giving you will not be ultimately for the highest good of you and those around you. When you come from this inner peace, saying yes to the situation, in that quietness, you will be led to make the right choices and the right decisions. So this is an opportunity for us not to build up more knots. Every time we say no, we build up a knot to life. We become knotted, we become blocked to the flow of life. And I believe a lot of the problems that we experience in life, a lot of the ill health, a lot of the suffering through stress comes from the knots that we have tied inside ourselves, blocking the flow of chi energy through us. And that manifests not only physically, but it also manifests in the circumstances around us. So saying yes to what is in this moment, I believe is a very wise, a very intelligent choice to do. It takes you into peace, and then from that place, you're better able to make choices and decisions. And also you open yourself up for divine guidance.
Absolutely. And then, as John said, you're much more capable of dealing with what you have to cope with in that presence. Whereas if you are randomly going, your mind's going crazy with blame and, these people are that and those people are that, and then there's hatred that goes on top of it, you're simply making it worse for yourself. So you can cope with very big adversity by just saying, okay, this is not pleasant. I'm not necessarily enjoying this, but it is happening. So I accept that this is happening, or this has happened. How can I best deal with this? And by blaming and going to war with the situation or with the people who have perpetuated the situation, that isn't going to help either, because it's just going to pull you straight out of presence. And it's going to take you in, it's like going into the future and saying, what's going to happen? Well, we don't know. We don't know.
And we don't need to know either.
And we don't need to know.
That's the whole thing.
What we can cope with right now is right now.
Yeah.
This is what we can cope with.
Yeah.
I can do this right now. Is there anything more I can do? No. Okay, then I'm going to bring myself back into that presence state, because that is my point of power. That is where we're powerful. And if we are all standing in a powerful point of presence state, we are almightily powerful.
Yeah.
As has been shown this last week in many different situations in our country. Stand together as a community and say, no, we're standing together. Support each other. I've heard of grannies bringing coffee to people, standing in the middle of the night on bridges. I mean, it's been incredible what community's done. All people, all creeds, all colors, all sexes, all ages, getting out and sweeping the streets, cleaning up people's shops. Everybody's standing together. That's powerful energy. That is powerful, as opposed to sitting stewing about what shouldn't have happened. So where can we, that's a good question. Where can we actually help? How can I actually help the situation? Might just be that I'm actually just going to go into presence and actually send light out from my heart into those areas, into the world. That's hugely powerful, just doing that. Or it might be physical action. You actually physically get out and do something. But I think we have a choice, and that's consciousness. And that's what this is all about, because we are awakening into a new consciousness. And that new consciousness is that we are not dependent on the old systems. It's time for us to take the leadership, and for us to stand up and say, okay, this works. How can we actually do this more? As opposed to feed that system that has never worked. So it's keeping on, isn't it? Bringing yourself back, even when there's chaos. In fact, especially in chaos.
So we've been saying for the last couple of years that there is a fork in the road. And the fork really requires that we do choose, that we do make a choice. And the choice is really between two options. The one option is the fear, and that stands for false evidence appearing real. That's looking outside of yourself for your security, looking to future for your security. And that path promises you everything. Do this now. It's not what you want, it's not what you feel, but do it, and then we'll give you some future security. And that's a very destructive path, is the path of fear. Promises you everything and delivers you nothing. The other fork is marked love. And love is about connection, community. It's about caring and empathy and compassion. And it makes you no promises. But if you stand in your authentic self and you operate from your heart, not your head, and you do it in a way that connects you with the greater good of those around you, you're guided and you're protected, and all your needs are met moment to moment to moment. And that is the choice that mankind is being offered right now. The choice of the path of fear, false evidence appearing real. Take this whatever this medication and you'll be safe in the future, or the path of love. And love is very much about connecting with life. It's about connecting with that inner trust, that inner knowingness. And it's the God essence. You're trusting in God rather than the material world of objects and form and time. And that's really the choice that we're getting to make in each and every moment. And this process of transformation doesn't happen easily. You have to break the egg to make the omelette.
Yep.
You can't build a new world but on the old structures. You can't do that. The old structures have to crumble. And if you're busy leaning on those old structures for your security, which a lot of people have been doing in the past, you're going to fall over when the structures fall over. So now it's time to stand in your own sovereignty, in your own power. And your point of power, as Michelle said, is the present moment. You see, presence and the divine are one and the same. And the more you stand in that alignment with life, that alignment with the divine, that alignment with presence, the more you are going to find your own inner stability instead of leaning on outside situations. I remember 12, 13 years ago when I was doing the Mind Calendar talks, I recited a poem from the Hopi Indians, and it said in that poem about prediction of the time we're going through, where is your water? Know your water.
Yeah.
And it says, don't look outside of yourself for leaders. Don't look outside of yourself for leaders. This is to be led is to go inwards and find that inner voice, that inner quietness, which is there to lead you. So this is the fundamental shift that we're going through. The old, yes, is crumbling. The old is bankrupt. And the new has to be born. But the new can't be born unless the old structures are seen for what they are. Yeah. So it's that phoenix rising from the ashes of the old. But in order to have the ashes, you've got to have that fire. You've got to have that complete dissolvement of the old. And the question is here, where is our real power? And Michelle addressed that quite nicely earlier. Our real power is in the present moment. And so if we look at fear as disempowering, the other side of that is love. Love is the empowering part. Love is our power. Love is the true power. And we get a choice right now. We can step into anger or guilt or regret or blame. We can do that. That disempowers. Or we can step into community, to connection, to love, to empathy, to compassion, to caring. That's where our power lies. And there was a wonderful teacher on earth who changed the lives of probably many millions of people. A really profound, enlightened soul, I believe. Her name was Louise Hay. And I looked at some of her mantras, as her affirmations, and I realized how powerful they are for these times that we're going through right now. So our mind tends to be fear-based. It tends to be programmed by situations, circumstances, events, and people outside of ourselves. And affirmations are a very powerful way of taking back our power, from stepping from fear into love. We can use the power of affirmation to rewire our brain and to enable us to see a new world, to see the possibility of the new world. And as we start to see with real eyes, which are the eyes of love, we start to realize that we have the power. We have the power. It's the power of love. It's the power of presence. And so affirmations are a very, very powerful tool which we can use right now to change our mind. Because believe it or not, we're all saying affirmations every day. You know, the world is out of
the world's gone insane.
The world is out of control. The world is saying, those are affirmations. Never going to come right, you know. And those are affirmations. So let's rather look at these thought patterns that we are investing our awareness in and choose new thought patterns. The power of affirmation is immense in changing our lives. I've spoken before about 21 years ago when my life was in so much dissolution. Businesses were collapsing, relationship was collapsing, no money. And I chose a new affirmation there. Instead of saying, why am I being punished this way? Or why am I, why is everything so bad in my life? I chose a new affirmation, and that was life is great. Now, physically, my life wasn't great at that stage, but I started saying that over and over again. And gradually the situations, circumstances, events, and people in my life became great. to match that inner program which I was laying down. So I just want to say to you, just know that you have immense power in your thoughts
and your talk
and
speech.
in your emotions. The words you say, they are functions of what's going on in your mind. So if you want to change your life and if you want to change the world to something better for your children and your grandchildren, change your mind. And one of the strongest ways I know of doing that is through the power of affirmation. So what I'd like to do is just read you something that Louise Hay wrote, and then we're going to share some affirmations. Shall we do that? Let me just put my reading glasses on. So to realize that your point of power is in the present moment, and presence and love are one and the same. They're not separate. You can't experience love if you're not present. You can experience fear when you're not present. But when you're in love, you are present. So this is what Louise...
You could even just close your eyes if you wanted to with this, because it's really beautiful to just take it in.
Yeah, good idea. She says, your heart has so much love in it. And the more of this love you share and give away, the more you will have to share. Love is not a substance that runs out. It is like a muscle. The less you use it, the more it withers and dies. And the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And the love you give out returns to you multiplied and greets you wherever you go. Love is the answer. Love is the most healing force there is. Love abolishes anger. Love releases resentment. Love gets rid of guilt. Love banishes blame. Love fades fear. Love opens the door. Love is the pathway to freedom and peace of mind. Love is the answer. And forgiveness is the way to love. The Course in Miracles says that all illness is created by being unforgiving. And that when you are ill, there is someone you need to forgive. And that may very well be ourselves. These people that you may need to forgive could be living or they could be dead, but they continue to live on in your mind. Whether we really understand that when we understand that everyone in our life is a mirror of where we are, and that whatever they are doing is only a reflection of our own pattern, with this knowledge, we can never be angry or blame anyone again. All we need to do is be willing to release the pattern within ourselves and to be grateful to them for showing us where we need to do the work. Let us affirm that we are willing to release the need to criticize and judge. We begin to learn to love and accept who and where we are now. We drop all blame and become willing to change our patterns. Now let's do a series of affirmations.
Let's close our eyes and center yourselves. Bring yourself into the present by taking a few really deep breaths. And as you breathe out, drop your shoulders and just soften. Bring yourself into that center place. Bring yourself into your heart. Into that part of you which is right here, right now. Deep, beautiful, relaxing breaths out and soften your body. Drop your shoulders. Open your heart.
Affirmations are powerful statements of truths about ourselves. These are healing words, and in this relaxed state of mind, they sink deep into our subconscious mind. And we take these positive statements deeply into us, and we make them true for us. So affirm with me, it is easy for me to change. It is easy for me to change. I am willing to release the past. I willingly and joyfully release the negative past. Burdens fall away from me. Old burdens easily fall away from me. I feel light and free. My mind feels light and free. I am secure.
I am secure and powerful. I now choose to use my power. I choose to select my thoughts. I choose joy. I choose laughter. I choose enthusiasm. I choose self-esteem. I choose understanding. I choose compassion. I choose gentleness. I choose kindness. I choose friendliness.
I choose love. I know I am worthwhile. I am worth liking. I am worth loving. I approve of myself. I choose health. I choose prosperity. I choose opportunity. I choose fulfillment and satisfaction. I choose success. I choose enlightenment.
I choose forgiveness. I choose to release all barriers to love. I choose that which no longer, to release that which no longer serves me. I choose to let love flow through every single area of my life, in all my relationships, from the most casual and fleeting to the most intimate and lasting. I choose harmony and loving communication wherever I am. I choose to see good and worth in everyone. I affirm that I'm an open channel for divine ideas. Whatever I need to know is always revealed to me, and whatever I need comes to me in the right time frame sequence. I know that all is well in my world.
That's beautiful. I'm going to post, after we finish tonight, I'm going to post a link to my webpage where I've listed this. And in fact, I've got an audio track of Louise Hay saying this section, and it really is absolutely beautiful.
Just play it over.
So this evening on John Homewood 7 on Facebook.
Feeding yourself. It's feeding yourself. You know, I like to see, I love trees. John and I are both tree people. And I kind of like to, that's why I chose that image of the tree standing there in the storm for our satsang tonight. Be like a tree. Put your roots down very deep into the earth and into this moment. We've spoken about it very often. This is the time when you need that taproot to go straight down into this moment. So be like a tree. Imagine that you're a tree and that you're drawing your nutrients up, that you're spreading your light, you're spreading your gifts, you're spreading your fruits with your branches. If a storm comes, what happens? The tree stands there. We've got a tree in the park opposite us that is absolute miracle that it's still standing because the wind howls here. It's leaning over, but it's hanging on. It's able to actually be flexible enough to not break. So that's another lesson. Be flexible. Be adaptable. We have to be adaptable, especially going forward. Things are going to change. We have to be, okay, this is changing. We thought we were doing that, but we're not doing it anymore. We have to do that. Be flexible. Nurture yourself. Feed yourself properly. Give yourself water. Give yourself nutrients. Get yourself enough sunshine. All those things that a tree does. Imagine a tree, a circle of trees all standing around, and their community, they're sharing their root system. They're sharing their fruits. That's what we need to be doing. So I just kind of got that image of the tree, as I use that a lot when I feel that I'm kind of going this way and that way. I almost imagine myself standing as a tree. You can even do the tree pose, and you can stand very firmly, and you can actually stand in your center, especially when the world around you's gone somewhat crazy. So use the tree analogy if that works for you as well.
Yeah, nature is very resilient. If you think of, a fire comes through, on Table Mountain here, we have fires that come through occasionally. And then shortly after that, the green, the new life comes back. Nature is very resilient. And if we become aligned with presence, we're aligned with life, we're aligned with that intelligence called nature, and we become resilient. Resilience is when you stand on grass and you take your foot off and the grass comes back up again. That's resilience. And that's what we need right now, is to be flexible and to be resilient.
Yeah, and a branch comes and it whips a branch. A storm comes and it whips a branch off your tree. Like suddenly you don't have that branch anymore. And now you have to sort of balance yourself by realigning yourself to actually cope with the loss of what you lost. So trees are amazing analogies and amazing beings, so we can connect with their energy.
Yeah.
And so just sort of consider that.
Yeah.
Imagine when a tree goes through every year, a lot of trees lose all their leaves.
In autumn.
And suddenly they look quite bare.
Yeah.
And imagine all the leaves are falling on the ground and they're all gone and it's bare. And then suddenly they start to sprout again because everything changes.
Yeah.
And there will always be a new season.
Yeah.
And I think that's another lesson with this, is this too is going to change.
Yeah.
It has to change. Yeah. It's a cycle. And it's a difficult cycle, but it's a cycle.
Yeah.
And it has to change.
So Michelle has just, experienced some of that this last week because she had her whole life's possessions stored in Hillcrest in KZN.
Yeah.
And that whole storage unit was completely trashed, everything stolen or broken or burnt. So Michelle's just lost all of her possessions from her whole life. And that is the autumn, that is the letting go, that is the releasing, trusting that spring is going to come. And with spring, newness will come. So the leaves of the tree have to drop to the floor. They form the humus, the food for the new spring. And then the tree is in the best position to take advantage of the spring when it arises. And so, Michelle has experienced quite a loss this week, as many, many people have. But it then is to know that even this is part of a higher order. And this also needs to go in order to make way for something new to come into your life. And that was proven to you on Monday when you got that beautiful gift.
Wonderful experience. I actually had a wonderful friend who sent me a gift, and I actually found out about the destruction that was happening in the storeroom, in the storage unit in Waterfall on Monday morning. And we were away and we were driving back, and we got back and I got a message from the courier saying there's a package for you. So I went off and opened for him, and he gave me the package, and I opened the package, and it was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful mandala cloth, exquisite, beautiful tablecloth. But what was so profound was that I just basically found out that every single thing I owned, apart from what I could fit in my car when I left, has gone. When I opened this packet, the cloth that I was gifted was exactly the same as a cloth that I actually bought shortly before putting my stuff in storage. I mean, exactly the same design, the same color, the exact same cloth, except that this one's even prettier because it's got tassels around it. And that was the waterworks came out there, boy, because it was a sign. It's not easy. I mean, I'm feeling the pain of it. I keep on realizing oh my goodness, that was there as well. And that's okay. It's like any grieving. There's pain associated with it. But there's also knowingness that this too is supposed to be happening, otherwise it wouldn't be. And there's also that promise, that kind of message that there's support there and there's something new arising. And that was very, very clear. So yeah, I'm just encouraging everybody that's going through loss, that's going through grief, that's going through fear, just stand like a tree. Stand in your power. Watch your thoughts. You don't have to lay blame. It doesn't help. Really, really doesn't. Keep your heart open. Don't close the heart. Because that's the tendency. Harden. No, we don't understand. We don't understand the bigger picture. We can't see the bigger picture. So all we can do is just cope in this moment with what we can cope with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not worry about the future too much.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what the future holds.
Yeah. You can recognize that, yes, you do experience pain, but the suffering is self-inflicted.
Yeah.
All suffering is saying no to what is. That's where suffering comes in. And that is self-inflicted. But the pain, pain happens in life. You experience pain as a sensation. And to realize that you have a choice in each and every moment to say no to life or yes to life. And sometimes life, the circumstances that we receive are quite unacceptable, says the mind. But accept even the unacceptable. That way you create no more karma for yourself in the future. You create no residual energy that you have to balance out at some future time and some future place. It's to be open to what life is giving you in this moment, knowing that even this, as difficult it is for your highest good. And if you know that, your heart opens. And when your heart is open, you're in the flow, in the stream of love. And you're more intelligent.
Yeah, and you can feel the feelings that arise for you. Feel them. So if you feel grief, feel the grief. Feel sadness, feel the sadness. You might feel anger for a moment, or two, or three. Feel it. You don't have to project it, but you can feel it. Allow it. Accept that as well. And then that will flow through. It won't get stuck, as John said, it won't create another knot inside your system, inside your body, inside your being. It'll just flow through you. So we need to be like the tree, Lose the leaves, lose a branch or two.
Lose your life possessions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
be like
just
a tree.
like that. And it's also to recognize that this is a time of releasing a lot of stuck energy that's sitting deep within our psyche, deep within our soul. When you squeeze an orange, you get orange juice out. You don't get pear juice or mango juice. Why do you get orange juice when you squeeze an orange? Because what's inside the orange comes out. So right now we're in circumstances and situations, and some people are being squeezed. And then anger comes out, or fear comes out. And then we think the circumstances created the anger or the resentment or whatever. It wasn't. It was sitting inside you. So if you look at life this way, that anger is coming out so it can be healed, not projected onto something else, but so it can be healed. Or the anxiety is coming out so it can be healed. And then you look at it in a positive way instead of in a negative way. And you can say, thank you. Thank you for that anger coming to the surface so I can heal it in the light of acceptance, in the light of awareness. So it's to realize that these are the times of bringing up to the surface that which we've held on to deep in our psyche and soul for a long, long time. And now it is the opportunity to heal that through forgiveness. Forgiveness means to surrender, to let go, to release, and to see with the eyes of gratitude that even this is for your highest good. And that's the path of love. We go, as Louise said, we go through the doorway of forgiveness to get to love.
Yeah.
So do you want to just close us this evening? Oh, by the way, just a quick ad. We've got 2 live events coming up. We've got next weekend, for those of you in the Cape Town area, we have a wonderful weekend workshop, Saturday and Sunday. It's the Heart and Art of Healing.
In Stellenbosch.
Stellenbosch, it's a beautiful place there. We've still got a few vacancies there. And then end of August, we've got our Hogsback retreat. We had to postpone it from last week because of the lockdown. So that's happening what day is it? 27th to the 31st of August, the Hogsback retreat. And that really is beautiful. Yeah. So that's a quick.
And we're starting a new journey to freedom on the 16th of August.
Yeah, that's an online journey to freedom.
13 week.
So
we'll put some ads out on that. It's all available on journeysofAwakening.com.
So let's just get Michelle to
So it's just going to be a couple of
quietly
minutes.
lead us
I'll
out
just
here.
lead you out. Okay, so breathing in and out. Beautiful deep breath in, filling up your belly on the in-breath. Bring that breath all the way up to your chest. And then let it all go. Let a big sigh out for the whole week with whatever's happened this week. Just let it all go. Let it all go. Let it all drop off you. And another beautiful deep, deep breath in. All the way up to your chest. And then let it all go again. Let it all go again. Drop your shoulders. Put your shoulders back. Breathe into your heart. Open your heart. You can even put your hand on your heart if that works for you. And imagine standing in your true power. Imagine being a tree. Standing very firm but very flexible. Roots going all the way down into Mother Earth. Drawing nutrients from this beautiful, beautiful planet that holds us and nourishes us. Imagine that those nutrients coming in through the bottoms of your roots and up through your feet and through your trunk and out through the limbs and the branches of your tree into the leaves, making the fruit that feeds and nourishes others, bringing in sunlight from above, air from above, water, being fully present in your own sovereignty and also connected to everything else around you through your root system, standing in community, standing in strength, oneness, love. Just feel what it feels like to just be here now. No past, no future, no stories, just this. This place that we can return to over and over, as many times as we need to. Knowing that we are deeply loved, deeply supported, deeply connected, and that all is well. And from your heart, let's just send light out to your community, wherever you are. Let's send out love from your heart to your country and to your country's leaders. That we may bring peace to this planet. And a deep breath in and out. And you can open your eyes.
That was beautiful. Wasn't that lovely? That was really beautiful, wasn't it? Well, let's see what the affirmation is that we have for tonight. You want to choose one?
I'm going to close my eyes. Anticipate. That one.
Green one, it's hot.
Oh, that's
Hot
an interesting
chocolate.
one. I forgive myself unconditionally right now.
I forgive myself for all my fears, all my anxieties. There are no accidents in this world, and the experiences that we experience are created through unconscious patterns, resentments, resistances that we've had in the past. And this moment's our chance, our point of power to create a new future. And forgiveness is the key, as Louise Hay said. Forgiveness. And forgiveness starts here. So I'll post that on the Facebook page, and you can use it throughout the week. Have a blessed week, and we look forward to catching up with you next Sunday. Those of you on our online courses, we look forward to catching up with you before then. Bless you all. Love you all.
Lots of love.
Take
Thanks,
care.
everybody.
You are guided and you are protected.
Thank you.
Love you.